again, for the students that have been following along, give me 1 second. Okay, again, for the students who've been following along, the SAGE should seem secondhand to you now. We're in section 13 of the notes, and we've been doing a lot of it. I mean, certainly we've done a lot of SAGE. If you've been following and you've been trying, that this should seem very trivial to you at this point, including if you're just copy pasting. We're hoping you're going beyond copy paste though, and you start thinking about the code that's being presented to you and how it relates to the problems that you were asked to do by hand. There's a relationship between them. But anyway, let me go back to my terminal. And I'm going to start typing things in. And again, we're using Sage from a command line prompt. If you want, you can go to the website, www.sagemath.org, and use the interactive CoCalc product online. All right, same thing. It's going to the same code. Right. The only difference is I'm hitting return. If you're doing it online, you're hitting shift return. All right, so X and Y are variables. And again, it's certainly, if you've been following, this seems like, oh, you always do this. You're right. It becomes second nature to me. I'm always going to be defining my variables. Again, do I make mistakes? Yeah, occasionally. And I want to rectify those mistakes. All right, so let's take a look at this one over here. I'm doing a copy paste. And again, it's important you start to type it in yourself. I'm just speeding the process up by copy pasting it and hit that. What's going to happen? It's going to open up. Well, I'm looking at that and I'm starting to say, oh, that's an ellipse that's been rotated. That's not so bad. All right. Yeah, it's one of the problems that was in the prior problem set. That's done. All right. Let me go to the next line of code. This one's weird. This one says solve. Type that in. Oh, geez, what did it do? It solved the equation for a point of intersection. All right, there's two equations over there. Two equations are given. All right, it gave two equations itself for a given point. Again, that relates to problems that you've seen prior if you've been working on the material. All right, what's the first point of intersection? 1 comma minus 8. What's the second point of intersection? 9 comma minus 8. You may remember back in Math 119, you were given, systems of linear equations and you solve them. These are nonlinear systems. You're also given that in 119 where you solve for a point of intersection. All right. All right, let's put this one down. A little strange to me. I'm going to copy paste and then we'll talk about it. Again, this relates to prior examples. So they say IP1. So I'm going to say IP1 for me means it's an abbreviation for implicit plot 1, and it's an implicit plot of something. All right. Hit return. I got that done. Let me do IP2. I'm just copy pasting. That's all I'm doing. All right. Now someone says, what are those things? Now IP1 and IP2 are graphic primitives. They're stored in the computer now. They're actually stored. What I want to do is I want to see what they look like. So what I'm going to do is type in that last line of code, which says, could you show me something? Could you show me IP1? I'm sorry. Could you show me IP1 plus IP2 together? Could you show me that? And I don't know, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe they can't show it to me. What do I got? I've got a picture. Now someone says, what is that a picture of? Well, if I'm looking at it, I'm seeing this thing over here, which looks like an ellipse, and I'm seeing these two objects over here, which looks like a hyperbola. And I'm seeing points of intersection over here, all right? So what points of intersection are we seeing? Let me just go back to my terminal. And I want to just pull this over here. And I want to tell you what we did. We just graphed two graphs, and I'm seeing 2 points of intersection. And what are the point of intersection I'm seeing? Well, this point over here appears to be, roughly, looking at this graph over here, roughly 9 comma, well, it looks about minus 8. I'm looking at the scale, by the way. And the other one looks, roughly speaking, about 1 minus 8. And that's what this line of code over here. All right. Now, here comes the problem. There's I wonder if some other product could do that, and it can. Right. So I just want to point out, I want to go to Wolfram Alpha. Whoops, sorry about that. And what I'm going to do with Wolfram Alpha is I'm going to say, I don't want to type all that stuff in again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say, I wonder, could it plot this? So I'm going to say plot that. Now, you notice I just did a copy paste. There's a double equal sign there. I'm not worried about it. I don't know what Wolfram Alpha is going to do, though. It might look at that and say, I have no idea what that means. Wolfram Alpha is sort of like Google, though. It's going to try to interpret what you got. Yeah, it's got, and it interprets in nice typeset form what that is. And what is that? It's an equation of an ellipse that has been rotated. And again, we went through the work to rotations. It's not easy, though. I know that. All right. So let me just try another one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can solve. All right. So solve. And I don't know. I'm going to write down my equations over here. I'm going to solve these two here. I'm just going to copy paste. I don't know. Maybe it's going to have a tough time with it. I have no idea. I mean, this is my first time typing this in. I'm just copy pasting it. So I'm saying solve those two equations for X and Y. Let's see what happens. It might have you completely confused. No, it's not confused. And that's why I'm saying this is sort of like Google. Even if Google, if you type in something wrong, Google makes some effort to understand you. Just like when people are talking to you, if they make mistakes in what they say, you make some attempt to understand them. However, you may be misunderstood or they may be misunderstood. But I think they did a pretty good job, just like Sage, all right? Just like Sage would do, all right? So I also want to point out, if you want to, and you have other software, you could try copy pasting it in as well. You could do that, all right? Now, let me just try another one. I'm going to try to do this thing. I'm going to go back to Wolfram, and I'm going to do plot. I want to plot that, and, whoops, sorry about that. I want to plot the other one together. I'm just doing a copy paste. And again, I don't know if it's going to be able to do it. I really don't. Does it understand what I said? Yeah, it does. And here's the weird thing about it. It's actually given me a little red dot over here about a point of intersection over here. Again, don't worry so much about that. What did it do? It interpreted what I wrote, what I copy pasted, and then it gave me a graph of that. What's the graph? It's very similar to what we did with Sage. Pretty important stuff, all right? If you're thinking about moving forward, all right? These are trivial problems though. All right, thank you.